Welcome to a special report on sewage pollution at a main septic treatment plant where breaches have been observed contaminating Lake Ola and nearby wetlands. We begin our investigation at the septic treatment plant, located towards the southeastern part of the map. The treatment tanks outlined in yellow are directly on the north side of West Jones Avenue, bordered north by the Florida Central Railroad tracks, southeast of the Bob White Field Airstrip, and west of US Route 441. The east-west county canal marked in blue runs along the Florida Central tracks, stretching to the septic tanks at the eastern end. The north-south outfall canal marked in green intersects the canal, carrying water from it to Lake Ola, outlined in orange. The outfall runs from the north side of the railroad tracks, along Holly Court and Lake Andrea Circle, crossing Sadler Road, marked with red, before reaching Lake Ola going northwest. A special aerial footage team was dispatched to screen the area for breaches. Special Reports cameras have captured breaches originating at the west of the canal where the plant is located. Note that every sewage plant in Orange and Lake counties are routed through the plant. There is evidence of this breach that flows into surrounding wetlands as well. The runoff moves through the wetlands and into the county canal, carrying waste into the county canal system and into Lake Ola. There's also evidence that the concrete barriers have been removed between the sludge and the wetlands to allow more runoff to escape into the canals. From various vantage points, we can see the sewage plant's proximity to the affected water bodies. An investigation team was dispatched to test the canal water at multiple points. They tested for multiple high readings, including chlorophyll A, a measure of the amount of algae growing in the water body, and total nitrogen, a test to monitor nutrient pollution in the water. Samples gathered near the septic plant show high chlorophyll A and high total nitrogen compared to samples they took from unrelated canals near Lake Ola, highlighted here. Directly south, adjacent to the railroad tracks, southwest of Holly Court and bordered to the southeast by Bob White Field Airstrip and north of Jones Ave, there are acres of visible sludge piles, outlined in red. These piles, when wet by storms, will hydrate and produce runoff. Along the east-west county canal, we encounter another troubling sight at the northeast corner of the sludge piles. Here, a visible breach allows runoff to flow into a small pond, which subsequently enters the wetlands. This water, carrying contaminants, passes under the Florida Central tracks via culverts, enters the east-west canal, and continues towards Lake Ola. As we see from the eastern boundary of the sludge piles presents another significant concern. Culverts that were installed here breach the berms, bypassing the raised terraces, letting runoff enter the north-south canal system south of the tracks. Samples of the canal water near the sludge piles showed higher chlorophyll A compared to unrelated canals. Lake Ola is known to be pristine and pollutant-free. However, in January 2023, when conditions for algae growth are not usually ideal, a highly unusual large amount of algae grew in the lake after heavy rains, requiring removal. Why? The area along the canal is dry, with natural dams preventing most water movement during the dry season. Although, the area is known to be ravaged by hurricanes, which will cause natural dams to break, causing heavy flow from this area into Lake Ola, bringing along contaminants. The contaminants will either reach Lake Apopka to the south or Lake Ola to the north. Here we focus on the sludge canal, where culverts discharge into the west-east canal and then into the north-south canal. In a closer look at these culverts, we observe that in generally dry conditions, the contaminated runoff is directed towards Lake Apopka to the south. During wetter conditions, the same runoff could be diverted towards Lake Ola to the north as well, adding to the contamination issue. These observations and the corresponding flow of contaminants paint a troubling picture of how the septic sewage plant impacts our water bodies. As we present this evidence, it becomes essential for regulatory bodies to scrutinize the operations at the plant and enforce measures to protect our precious lakes. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story.